Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started. Bronson Reed was recently accused of copying Rhea Ripley's signature taunt. The powerhouse had some tough words for the fan who accused him of the same. Bronson Reed and Rhea Ripley share a close bond that goes before their time in WWE. The duo started their pro wrestling career on the Australian independent circuit. While they have never interacted on screen in the global juggernaut, the duo often exchange friendly banter on social media. Reed was recently featured in a video hyping Raw's moves to Netflix. In the video, the Aussiezilla was seen stomping the ground just like Mommy does during her entrances. This led to a fan calling the powerhouse Bronson Ripley. However, the accusation did not sit well with Bronson, who stated that he has been doing the taunt since the former women's world champion used to come to his matches back in Australia. "I've been stomping the entry stairs since Rhea used to come watch me back home in Australia. Don't be a douche. She'd tell you the same thing." Bronson Reed always knew that Rhea Ripley was going to be a big star in WWE. Both Bronson Reed and Rhea Ripley started their pro wrestling journeys in Australia. While the duo's friendship is rarely referenced on WWE programming, they share a close bond in real life. During an interview, Reed noted how Mommy used to attend his matches on the independent circuit. The powerhouse added that he could see Ripley's potential when she started training to become a wrestler. "Rhea used to actually come to the independent shows when I was wrestling, and she was a fan. And then I remember she started training, and I was like, oh, this girl's gonna be famous. I could tell straight away. There was something about her. I was like, if she signs with WWE, she'll be off and running." And it happened. "I think the Rhea you see now was always in the Rhea before, but I think when she signed to WWE, and this happens as well, that you feel like you have to not change yourself, but you have to be a certain way," he said. Rhea Ripley is currently one of the top stars of the WWE Women's Division. She is set to challenge Liv Morgan for the Women's World Championship. Bronson Reed, meanwhile, suffered an injury at Survivor Series, War Games, and will be out for a while. In the ever-evolving landscape of WWE, where rivalries are born from a single misstep, it's no surprise that tensions often run high. For Bronson Reed, one of the most intimidating forces on Monday Night Raw, a storm had been brewing for days. The powerhouse had been accused of doing something he never thought he would: copying Rhea Ripley. It all began on a recent episode of Raw. Rhea Ripley, the dominant women's world champion, had been at the top of her game. With her intimidating presence, ruthless aggression, and unapologetically confident persona, she had transformed into one of WWE's most captivating figures. Fans were enamored by her distinct style, her fashion choices, her mic work, and her sheer athleticism. As the mommy of WWE, Rhea had carved out a space all her own in the industry. No one could duplicate her persona, and no one dared to try. Or so it seemed. That was until Bronson Reed, the Australian powerhouse, with an insatiable thirst for success, appeared in his now iconic mommy-inspired attire during a tag match. The fans couldn't ignore the resemblance to Ripley's signature look: the dark leather jacket, the high neck, body-hugging attire, the tough girl persona. It was an eerie parallel. Social media exploded with theories and accusations. Was Reed trying to piggyback off Rhea Ripley's success? Had he stolen her style in an effort to elevate his own image? Some fans speculated that this was the next step in WWE's plans to pit them against each other in a heated rivalry. Reed had been silent about the accusations at first, but after a tweet from an influential wrestling journalist claiming he was borrowing from Ripley's image, he had had enough. The angry response. It didn't take long for Bronson Reed to respond to the storm. On the night following the tweet, Reed took to social media with a message that was not only a direct rebuttal to the allegations, but a statement of defiance. The message read, "Enough is enough. For days now, I've seen these baseless accusations about me copying Rhea Ripley. Let me make this clear. I don't need to copy anyone to be great. What you're seeing is the product of years of hard work, of developing my own style, my own presence, and my own identity. No one defines me, and certainly not a woman, no matter how successful she may be. I've always walked my own path. And if people are too blind to see that, then that's on them. Rhea Ripley doesn't own black leather jackets or being a powerhouse. She can keep her look, and I'll keep mine. But I'll tell you this right now. I am Bronson Reed, and no one, not even her, can ever take that away. As the tweet spread like wildfire, fans were divided. Some rallied behind Reed, applauding his fire and determination. Others remained skeptical, arguing that the resemblance was too striking to be coincidental. But it wasn't just fans that took notice. Rhea Ripley herself was soon asked for her thoughts. Rhea Ripley's response. The next day, while backstage at a WWE event, Rhea Ripley addressed the issue in a rare moment of transparency. Dressed in her signature look, black leather, bold makeup, and a tough demeanor, she was asked about the accusations. "Bronson Reed copying me," she said, a sly grin forming on her face. "Listen, I've worked my ass off to get to where I am. I've made a name for myself. And if someone wants to be like me, that's flattery, right? I'm not bothered by it. I've always said that if people want to try and replicate my style, they're welcome to. But there's only one mommy, and that's me. Let him wear whatever he wants. It won't make him me. He's still Bronson Reed, and that's all he'll ever be." Ripley's response, while seemingly gracious, carried an underlying sense of ownership, one that commanded attention. It was clear she was unbothered, but her words served as a subtle reminder of her status as the mommy of WWE. The fallout, a battle of egos. In the days that followed, the tension between the two superstars continued to build. The accusations of copying weren't just about clothes or attitude. They were about the perception of dominance. WWE fans are always looking for the next big rivalry, the next great clash between two massive personalities. Many saw this as the beginning of an inevitable showdown between Bronson Reed and Rhea Ripley, not just for superiority, but for the claim of owning the powerhouse label in WWE. Reed, now fired up by Ripley's comments, took to his social media again, this time calling out the notion that he was copying her. "Powerhouse. That's a title earned in the ring. I didn't walk into WWE and start calling myself the biggest threat to the division. I proved it. I crushed anyone who stood in my way. And now people want to say I'm copying her. Let me tell you something. I'm about to show everyone why no one can copy Bronson Reed. You'll see exactly who I am when I step into that ring, and you'll see why no one needs to copy Rhea Ripley to be a force. I'm here to prove that I stand on my own." The battle had shifted from fashion to ego, and it wasn't long before WWE Creative decided to capitalize on the storyline. Plans for an eventual feud between Reed and Ripley were slowly starting to form. WWE knew that the conflict, however manufactured, would captivate the audience and raise the stakes between the two. The ultimate showdown. As the weeks passed, the anticipation only grew. Fans and critics alike began to question whether a match between Bronson Reed and Rhea Ripley could be a reality. Could WWE's top powerhouse and the most dominant woman in the company collide in the ring? The power dynamics were already in place. On one side, you had Reed, whose raw strength and undeniable presence could tear through anyone. On the other, Ripley, a woman who had proven that strength wasn't just for men. The result could be explosive. By the time WWE made the announcement, Reed versus Ripley in a mixed-gender match at a major pay-per-view event, the wrestling world was divided. Some questioned the fairness of such a match, while others couldn't wait to see how it would play out. In any case, the seed had been planted. The battle for dominance had begun. Whether Reed had truly copied Ripley or was simply embracing his own form of rebellion, one thing was clear. The war between them was far from over. The real question now wasn't whether he had copied her, but whether he could beat her and establish himself as the true powerhouse of WWE.